Calls to pardon Julian Assange surge as the Wyoming GOP censure Liz Cheney over her impeachment vote. In this video, we're going to take a look at the stunning paradigm shift going on in the Republican Party as more and more conservatives are calling for Julian Assange's pardon, how Liz Cheney is learning the hard way about this populist paradigm shift, and why more and more Republicans are turning their back on the neocon establishment. You are not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Wonderful to be with you. As always, we believe that the worldwide populist revolt has just begun, and we're here to give you conservative hope in the midst of admittedly turbulent and trying times. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. We would love to have you. It's a regular part of this channel where each and every day we analyze what are often distressing current events, but in light of very hopeful conservative trends so that we can all think better and therefore feel better. But first, let's give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that is collagen, available at my special website, healthwithsteveturley.com. Now, if you don't know, many health experts now agree that consuming collagen helps to renew and revitalize how you look and how you feel. Taking collagen regularly can revitalize your body, make your skin, bones, even your hair look and feel more healthy and youthful. And if you click on that link below today, you can get 51% off your order. So don't wait. Click on that link below and get your own collagen supply today. You'd be glad that you did. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. The calls to pardon WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange are surging as we speak. President Trump is expected to be issuing hundreds of pardons today, his last official day in office, and Julian Assange is the name that keeps coming up, particularly among the new populist right. The call to pardon Assange is itself a fascinating window into the growing populist movement that's redefining politics all over the world, but particularly here in the United States. So, for example, Republicans originally were almost monolithic in their denunciation of Assange. So when Julian Assange was originally arrested at the Ecuadorian embassy in London after the nation of Ecuador basically withdrew asylum, threw him under the bus, Newt Gingrich came out saying that it was, in his words, a very good thing. He went on to say, quote, "If you believe in national security, if you believe in the safety of the United States, Assange is a villain. I think it's a very good thing that the United States government is communicating that we may take a while to get to you, but if you violate our secrets, if you endanger our national security, if you put the country at risk, we're going to come after you until we get you." And I think that's exactly the right approach. Nobody has the right to leak secrets that could endanger lives and, in fact, could endanger the whole country, close quote. That was the near monolithic take among the neocon-dominated Republican Party. For these past 10 years, Julian Assange was considered enemy number one. But now, after 4 years of Trump's populism dominating politics, as well as the populist surge on the left with the rise of Bernie Sanders, we're beginning to see a fundamentally different perspective emerge here. Now, I was particularly intrigued by the conversation between Tucker Carlson and leftist commentator Jimmy Dore the other night. Jimmy Dore has been a longtime advocate for pardoning Assange, while Tucker originally took the stock neocon establishment position that Assange was an enemy of the state. Tucker has since reversed that perspective, fully embracing Dore's call to pardon Assange precisely on the basis of the strength of Dore's argument. In fact, Tucker went on to make a formal plea on his show for President Trump to pardon Assange last night. He put it brilliantly. According to the Washington establishment, the swamp, leaking classified information that hurts the permanent political class is a grave threat to national security and must be stamped out. But leaking classified information that helps the permanent political class is always an act of good faith. So there was no problem when the FBI told the Washington Post that the Russians were running our government through their agent, Donald Trump. That was perfectly fine. The Washington Post was doing us a great service publishing that. That's allowed to be pushed as news, actual news, throughout our 24/7 cable echo chambers and used as a basis of scorn and derision by our late-night television hosts like Kimmel and Colbert, both of whom are borderline illiterates, of course, when it comes to the truth, because we now all know that the whole Russian collusion conspiracy was a fabricated hoax perpetrated by the Clinton campaign and its deep state sympathizers. But when leaks implicate the people in charge, when these leaks embarrass and expose the corruption of the political class, well then, suddenly it's a national crisis and someone has to go to jail. And as Tucker pointed out last night, that, of course, is exactly what happened. Julian Assange is rotting away in a prison in London because he published information the U.S. government wanted to keep secret, not to protect us, but to protect themselves. So, for example, the leaked footage of an American helicopter gunning down 18 people in Iraq, including 2 journalists from Reuters. And, of course, Assange also publicized emails exposing the corruption at the various highest levels of the DNC, the Democratic National Committee. As Tucker pointed out, we have to remember that Julian Assange did not himself hack into any national security database or anything like that. He didn't commit espionage. And keep in mind, he's not even American. In the end, all Julian Assange did was report on what was presented to him, a report that ended up humiliating our permanent political class. And it is for that Julian Assange must be destroyed. Well, Tucker's change of heart reflects an extraordinary turnaround among rank-and-file Republicans, the vast majority of which support the pardoning of Assange. A Flash online poll found 95% support for a presidential pardon. Indeed, a whole host of prominent Republicans and conservatives have come out fully in support of the pardon, most especially Sarah Palin, the former governor of Alaska and vice presidential candidate. She too admits to have changed her mind. She adopted originally the stock neocon take that Assange was an enemy of the state, and she now realized that no, he's not an enemy of the state. He is an enemy of the permanent political class, and she wants nothing to do with that class. And you know who else is finding out that more and more Republicans want nothing to do with the neocon establishment leadership? Liz Cheney. She's facing nothing short of a massive backlash as a result of her vote to impeach President Trump. But first, in response's latest big tech purge that we're seeing of late, we here at Turley Talks are currently setting up a number of different alt-tech sites so we never ever lose touch with each other. And we would love to share with you all the different sites that we're on and will be on. And you can find out by simply clicking on the link below and signing up for our alternative media directory. Now, this directory is going to make sure that you find precisely the alt-tech site that's right for you. And best of all, you'll learn how to think better so you can feel better, but without the threat of censorship. It's absolutely free, so make sure to click on that link below and sign up for our Turley Talks alternative media directory today. All right, King. So no one is learning about this shift, this paradigm shift in the Republican Party, more than Liz Cheney. And of course, she's learning it the hard way, bless her heart. If you're not familiar, Liz Cheney and 9 other Republican congressmen voted to impeach President Trump last week. 10 Republicans voted to impeach our president, despite the fact that the latest polls show that 85% of Republican voters were totally opposed to this impeachment. Again, 85%. But that wasn't good enough for neocons like Liz Cheney, and so she and these 9 other Republican congressmen committed political suicide and voted in a way opposed by 85% of her base. So needless to say, the backlash against Cheney has been utterly immense. The Hill originally reported that the Wyoming Republican Party, Cheney is the lone representative from Wyoming, the Wyoming Republican Party excoriated Cheney, saying that there was nothing short of an outcry of denunciation against Cheney among Wyoming's Republican rank and file, the grassroots. Quote, "There has not been a time during our tenure when we have seen this type of an outcry from our fellow Republicans, with the anger and frustration being palpable in the comments we've received. Our telephone has not stopped ringing, our email is filling up, and our website has seen more traffic than at any previous time. The consensus is clear that those who are reaching out to the party vehemently disagree with Representative Cheney's decision and actions," close quote. So much for representing the people of Wyoming. And so the Republican Party Central Committee in Carbon County, Wyoming, unanimously voted to censure Cheney. The committee also demanded her presence before them to explain herself. They've complained that though they've made numerous attempts at contacting Cheney, she has done nothing either to receive their calls or to call them back. She's gone radio silent as far as the Republican Party in Wyoming is concerned. So they have officially and unanimously censured her, issuing a formal condemnation of her actions, which we can be sure is just the beginning. Cheney will most likely get primaried and booted out of office. Wyoming is a solid red state. They don't need her there anymore, that's for sure. So what are we seeing here, gang? What's going on with this change of heart among so many of our conservative leaders and rank-and-file Republicans who are now explicitly rejecting the neocon establishment? Well, in a word, it's nothing short of the rise of populism, a rise that really is just beginning. As documented in their book on national populism, British scholars Roger Eatwell and Matthew Goodwin have noted that a very pronounced gap or division has arisen over the last few decades between political classes all over the world and the citizens of nations, where populations are increasingly viewing their respective political class as ruling for its own benefit according to its own values and concerns, which are so often at the expense of the values and concerns of the people. So, for example, the authors document a continent-wide survey over Europe that found that on average, 70% of Europeans believe that their politicians don't care about them or their concerns. 70%. And so the new political divide that's opening up here is no longer an ideological divide between, say, capitalists and communists, or conservatives versus liberals, or even right versus left. It's now increasingly becoming a class divide between the permanent political class and the people, the rulers and the ruled, between, shall we say, the oligarchs and the ordinary citizen. And so it's no surprise that we're seeing a tectonic shift in our politics, where the enemy is no longer an ideological adversary, or a WikiLeaks founder, or a supposedly unhinged president, or any other threat identified by our political class. No, the enemy is increasingly the political class itself. Now, before you go, make sure to like this video, comment down below, and definitely subscribe to my channel. And you'll definitely want to check out my latest video. I just uploaded it on how a migrant caravan headed to the U.S. border has actually gotten stopped, all as Italy's leftist government is on the verge of collapse. You are not going to want to miss it, so make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. God bless.